Tito's Tuesday.
Tito's Tuesday. Tito's Tuesday.
This
Woo!
podcast is sponsored by Tito's, America's
Tito's.
number one vodka, John. Tito's handmade vodka. What a product. Trey Lance is hurt. Now, not severely hurt. I don't know that I've heard chipped finger before, recovery 1 week. You and I were, like a lot of people watching the preseason game, anytime you see the quarterback doing the thing with his hand, hits a finger on a helmet, it spooks you. Rams had a spook in practice a month or so ago with Matt Stafford. Obviously, he didn't play in the preseason. But do you view this as minorly significant, moderately significant, significant?
Well, it's not nothing. I mean, there's a piece of bone that's cracked in his finger, according to Kyle Shanahan. So to me, that's not nothing. And listening to him talk about it on the Niners website when Kyle was on a phone call, that he did not sound, I would say, enthusiastic. Now, part of it, it's hard being a head coach this week. You're cutting a lot of guys that you like and respect. Your quarterback got injured. And one thing he said is, I hope he's back for Monday. I don't think it's any guarantee that he's back for Monday. Like, when I see this, I'm no Elliot Schwartz here, but as someone that...
Good local doctor.
Yeah, great. The best. I need to text him. That I just...
the stars, John.
There's a chance that he's just not ready to go next week. Like, I don't think it's inconceivable that he misses practice, then they can't even really use him. Nate Sudfeld survives because of this. He just does.
My first thought when it happened,
it's unlucky, but it's part of. He had to play, so I can't put he had to play in the preseason.
I know. I texted you kind of kidding, like, who didn't hurt their finger in the preseason? Derek Carr. You know why? He didn't play, but he had to play, and that's part of this. He also he's got to practice. Like, to me, it's not just about, well, now is Trey Lance being able to play week 1 in jeopardy? It's also just about, let's say he can play week 1, but he's not back till Wednesday. That's a problem, because the number one thing that I identified from Trey Lance's preseason was not that he looks like he could be sweet. I already thought that. It's not that, maybe he's got to take a little off on his fastball. You and I have talked about that for months. I didn't think it was going to be as much a talking point in the preseason as it was, but it was. But his arm strength, and can he throw with touch? And the number one thing I came away thinking out of the preseason with Trey Lance was, this guy obviously needs to play football. It's not a groundbreaking thought. People have been talking about that for a long time because he only played 1 game in 2 years. But he's got to play, and it also means he's got to practice in order for him to just be on track. Now, maybe he's back Monday, maybe he's back Wednesday, maybe he plays Sunday, and the season rolls on and this never becomes a second thought. But I think every opportunity he gets is really critical, because everything they think about him is that he's a really fast learner, right? He can process, but he's got to be available for all of that stuff. And especially when you're trying to walk this line that Shanahan, it seems like, is going to try and walk, of balancing him and Jimmy.
Well, the problem from reading the doctors online is you can't take snaps. So until this thing heals, he will not be able to take snaps. So if it's not, I just don't even think you can put him out there. It's not I just don't think it's worth the risk. I think it's tough. And this is where you're in this situation where I don't know enough about finger injuries, but I have broken a toe. It does. I would side on the side, if I had to do caution and he can't practice all week. If he doesn't practice all week, let's just use a hypothetical. He misses next week's practices. I would say he would not play in the game as much as he normally would. Maybe they could still, if he is healthy enough on game day, maybe they have a couple runs, but I would say it would dramatically change what they potentially could have done, which might be okay because they're playing the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that the question is, why doesn't
for the Niners to win? It won't necessarily matter. I do think they got lucky the first opponent, that it's not even. I think we would be making a bigger story out of this if they were opening up against the Rams. Don't you think? Because do you think he's a lock to be back? Because I do.
No, I do not. The question, if that happened, though, would be, why didn't he play? Did he not play because he didn't practice enough to be ready, or did he not play because his finger's not ready? Right? Because those are two different things. Like, if he doesn't play because his finger's not ready, you got a real problem. If he didn't play just because he didn't practice enough, but his finger is ready, then that's where I would say use the link in this video to sign up, Get in the Haberman and Middlecoff DraftKings League. Get in our game this week for the FedEx Cup Championship and get ready to play an awesome football season with us on DraftKings. When you go to butcherbox.com/ham, you get 3 pounds of chicken breast, 2 pounds of burgers, 1 pound of hot dog for free right now. New members get the special deal when you sign up at butcherbox.com/ham. You know what? Maybe in a blowout, you do see him in the second half. He didn't practice, but hey, we can just do the stuff that he's practiced before and play a little bit.
It's weird because you would sign up for an injury like this, right? Just a little finger injury, whatever. But it's also not nothing, right? You'd rather have this, I'm saying, like over a sprained ankle, a hamstring pull, right? A sprain in your shoulder. Like you would take this all over a lot of just the go-to NFL injuries that aren't too bad. They could be a week to week type injuries. This does feels the most harmless, but as a quarterback, it does get a little, it's not nothing.
Throwing hand, I don't know if I could use harmless on that injury.
Yeah, you're right. That's fair. Throwing hand. He did keep throwing in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle said the only reason he knew just because we got an X-ray. I don't think Trey came in begging like my fingers hurt. They just being cautious. That's what you have to do. Like he's too important to roll it out there, then it shatters. Honestly, kind of crazy. More fingers don't shatter in just pro sports in general.
Shouldn't NFL all defensive players who plan on rushing the pass rusher have one of those padded helmets on their head in the preseason? Protect the quarterback.
But how many defensive linemen have we met that when they put their hand out, like 4 fingers are sticking other ways?
I'm just saying for the quarterbacks, wear the padded helmet in the preseason. All everybody else.
Now you can't,
Why can't I?
Yeah.
Why can't I? Rome says, F it, let Kyle play Jimmy all year then. They already messing up Trey's development. Go the whole way. You know what I think what that makes me think is like this is not just Kyle's decision. This is not just Kyle Shanahan deciding what to do. Jimmy Garoppolo's play will in part decide what happens here. It's not just Kyle gets to just pull whatever string he wants. Like, oh, I want Jimmy. Let me just roll out a Pro Bowl and I just know what I'm getting. Like, we don't always know what you're getting with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's not just a coaching decision here. Like, part of this is Jimmy Garoppolo's play will dictate. The record will dictate. So Nate Sudfeld getting cut does tell us something about what they think of Trey Lance because they're going to need a backup quarterback at minimum against the line. Maybe they think, it'll be interesting. Do they think at minimum he's available if something happens to Jimmy? Or, is that the same as thinking we can actually we'll be able to do all the stuff we plan to do with Trey if we get to that game? I don't know. That's, you know what I mean? Like, he's available in an emergency is different than we're going to do the whole full trade plan week 1. We'll see.
A lot of warm bodies out there, though, right now that they can choose from if they get into a pinch, right? You got Hoyer. I guess Mullins got scooped. CJ Beathard's not available. I can see Kyle DiNucci type. They'll sniff around if they were in a pinch.
Yeah, who would they like right now?
I think Hoyer. It's like
Hoyer,
Trey Lance was going to miss. Let's just say Trey Lance was going to miss a month, I just think they would sign Hoyer tomorrow. Don't you think?
Yeah, if they suddenly sign Brian Hoyer, that'll be a little bit of a red flag for Trey's finger.
Yes.
So
yeah.
All right, something to keep an eye on. Okay,